Estou aqui no UPix em São Paulo e encontrei aqui o Peter Cash. Vamos conversar um pouco com ele para entender. Hi, Peter. How do you describe yourself?
How do I describe myself?
What do you do? What are you? An entrepreneur, a teacher, a consultant, a writer, everything at once?
I'm a student of life. A student of life. I absorb everything around me. I've traveled to 62 countries around the world, and I absorb everything around me. But more specifically, is for the last 25 years of my life, I helped develop drugs for cancer. That's been my profession. I'm a biotech venture capitalist, whereby I work with doctors and scientists from around the world, and I started about a dozen biopharmaceutical companies, mainly in cancer. So I have the single greatest job in the world.
How come? And it's like, is it a fund that you constituted? Do you have a firm or you are with everyone?
Yeah, no, it's my firm, but as a sideline, I've been a professor for 20 years where I taught entrepreneurship at the University of Pennsylvania, the Wharton School. I was a visiting professor in Tokyo for 2 years at Nihon University. I teach at Hebrew University in Israel, where I teach entrepreneurship in Australia and whatnot. And I've written a couple books. One book actually got published here this book got published here in Brazil, which I'm very proud of. And you can get it at any bookstore. And I just have a lot of fun, and I try to share my experiences with others.
Coming to the subject of the book, let's try to connect it to your story. Do you think being an entrepreneur in biotech is very different than being an entrepreneur on the web, for example, with apps? And how much did school or schooling help you and can help entrepreneurs?
First of all, I had great professors, so it's luck. Who do you get as your teacher? It's not the class, it's not the book, it's the teacher. So I was very lucky to have many mentors. It's the same thing. Entrepreneurship is the same thing whether it's an ice cream store, a drug company, or a web site. You have to do the same basics of executing correctly, dealing with rejection, dealing with failure. The problem is the younger generation today needs instant gratification. Everything is instant gratification for the younger generation. So I think it's a little bit harder for them to deal with failure. For me, failure is a great thing because.
Have you failed?
Yes, I've had a lot of failure. With a lot of failure comes a lot of success. But I look at rejection as something positive. When someone rejects me, I always say thank you, because mathematically, it's getting me closer to someone saying yes. Does that make sense? And also, when someone rejects me, it means that they can make a decision. So now I know that that person is a decision maker. So maybe he doesn't like the current idea, but maybe in the future he will like an idea. So I actually embrace rejection. Off the record, I thank a lot of girls that rejected me in high school because they prepared me for success in business.
Maybe not so off the record, but besides speaking at the event, why did you come to Brazil? Are you looking for biotech companies? Are you bringing something, one of your businesses to Brazil?
Actually, I'm bringing my son's company to Brazil. I've been blessed with 4 children, and my oldest son is 21, Jared Kash. Hey, Jared, how you doing? Jared is at the University of Florida in Gainesville, and he created an app 2 years ago, actually a fascinating app. He calls me up, he goes, Daddy, I have an idea. You're working in cancer on extending life. I've come up with an idea that you could live forever. And I said, what is the idea? He goes, fly down to Florida. And he came up and he shared with me that I figured out a way to capture a moment in time and share it in the future. So Jared invented the first digital time capsule. So you could take a video of something, a first date with a girlfriend, a party. Your parents could take a video of you, and you could deliver it into the future, either 5 minutes into the future or 50 years into the future. So it's a digital time capsule.
So it's different than a regular video that you can record and watch any day again and again.
Absolutely. It comes with a clock that only opens on that day. Also, the sender can delete it before it gets opened. So if a girlfriend sends an idea to a boyfriend or vice versa, you can always reject it before it gets sent. And also it comes disguised like a jigsaw puzzle. So the sender sends it, but the receiver does not know what it is. So if you send a gift It comes scrambled. We call it the Time Flash Shuffle or the Time Flash Teaser. So it's like digital gift wrapping.
And if somebody wants to look for this app on
3 weeks. It'll be launched called Time Flash here in Brazil. You could go to hashtag Time Flash, and we're very excited. By the way, Brazil's the first market. Brazil, United States, and Israel are the 3 markets we're going for.
That's very interesting. Do you feel or do you know something else about Brazil, about Brazilian businesses,
Yes.
Brazilian innovation, Brazilian internet?
Absolutely. I know a lot about Brazil. Number one is the people. I've been dealing with Brazilians for over 30 years. Brazilians love life, and they share that love for life with others. All you have to do is look at the World Cup, look at the surroundings of food, of wine, of just the way Brazilians live. It's a beautiful way of life, number one. Number two is Brazil's very unique that you probably don't appreciate. Brazil's one of the few countries in the world that allow women to become successful entrepreneurs. There is many female entrepreneurs here in Brazil, and the male population accepts it readily. It's not so accepted in other countries and cultures. So this is another great reason why I'm in Brazil.
So you're almost moving to Brazil?
We don't want to say that to my wife so quickly. However, I plan to come down here quite often. And the food is great. I'm a vegetarian. And I discovered... I'll be right there. Only joking. There's many vegetarian restaurants here. It's very easy for me to be here.
As an investor, are you looking for deals in biotech in Brazil?
To be honest with you, I'm more looking for deals in social media. I've been doing biotech for 25 years, and I sort of went into semi-retirement, okay, and that lasted 3 weeks. And then my wife kicked me out of the house. She goes, go do something. You're not staying home anymore. Then because of my son, I gravitated towards social media.
Did she say, go disrupt something else?
The most important thing is I married my best friend. So the most important thing is just like when you have a business partner, it has to be a friendship. Same thing in anything in life. You got to have a good partner, you know.
Any extra tip, final tip for Brazilians who are maybe afraid of failure?
Number one is embrace failure. Number two is don't think Brazil only. Everyone I'm meeting here is thinking, I have this idea for Brazil. What do you think? Today you got to think globally. You have 500 million Spanish-speaking neighbors. Forget about Brazilian Portuguese. 500 million Spanish-speaking neighbors. So besides going after 200 million people here in Brazil, make sure you have a product and service that can relate to 500 million Spanish-speaking people. Do I express myself now?
Do you speak Spanish?
Un poquito, sí. It's very important to think globally today.
Well, thank you, Pete. And good luck on everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.